Hola ballers and welcome back to Yakuza, where today I want to talk about like the quintessential Yakuza quest. The quest that, for me, summarizes this franchise entirely. And it's just a magical experience that is hard to get from any other game series. And it's weird because it's so well done and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It has no right. I said this in the first Like a Dragon. There's some writing that happens with the main story in this game that is so cared for, so with so much attention to detail, while still being utterly preposterous and absurd, and, you know, belly aching laughing some of these things, that you're amazed by what's going on. And it also creates a really interesting situation with, like, traveling viewers, is what we call them on Twitch, who will drop in and they'll see, like, a fragment of what's going on and be like, this is just, I don't know what's going on here, and just leave, like, this is freaking me out. And then other people who join at a slightly different moment of the same quest line and be like, oh my god, this is, like, really serious and heavy. I'm like, right? It's a very interesting experience that happens. So I was doing a lot of the side quests in the game. I like the side quests a lot. They're non-canon is generally the approach they take to them, where they might reference them again in different games or later on down the line, but generally speaking, they won't be referenced too much as something that actually happened. The greatest example of that, of course, is Ichiban's sex life, where in the previous games, if you side quested, you could actually have sex with various women. But the main story in this game is that Ichiban's never had a girlfriend, and he's not really had that experience, he's never spoken to women, so it's like non-canon what's happening over there. And there were some really fun ones that I was doing. Side quests can be hit or miss. That is the nature of the beast. You know, they have a lot of them. Mostly they're hits, and they're very good. We did a very interesting storyline with a rock star on a beach who was filming his music video, and he pictured these crashing waves and raging storms, but it was Hawaii's beach. Even though if you go 20 minutes up the road, there is those crashing waves. And it was all wonderful and beautiful. And we consulted, ultimately, a wind shaman of the island who can summon magical storms on demand, which worked out and got the video, ultimately to find out it's his wife with a truck with a giant fan on it, which everybody would have seen, but still, the mystery is resolved. Lots of that going on, action movie stuff happening, explosions left and right. All this is the interesting stuff. However, as I was walking along the road near the coastline, we come across an old man, and he's like 80s, 90s, whatever, who is trying to get some shaved ice, and he's just asking for plain shaved ice, which obviously the vendor is very confused. Like, you don't want some like syrup on it, some flavoring, you know, something's like, no, I just want shaved ice. And you're just watching. And then he wanders off with this bowl of shaved ice and just throws it into the air, and it lands on his head, and then he gets really angry with himself. Obviously, a bizarre situation is unfolding before our eyes. So you try and ask him, like, are you okay, dude? Like, what's going on? And he's just like, leave me alone, man. Just stop, and just leaves and runs off. Was that interesting? I don't know where this is going. Later on, in another part of the island, you see him again, and now the vendors are turning him away. They've become convinced, they've been on the phone to each other, that this guy is going from vendor to vendor trying to get bowls of ice, and they're throwing them at himself. So they're of the right opinion, logically, that this guy's maybe trying to get a lawsuit, he's maybe trying to get ice in his eye or something like that, and they don't want anything to do with this. They're like, we're not serving you anymore, man. Whatever you're doing is really weird. We want no part of it. Just go away. So he's obviously dejected by this whole process. So which is when you actually get to have a conversation with him. And then it gets really serious. So it's obviously absurd. There's an old man in the street in Hawaii throwing bowls of ice at himself. And then you find out his wife is about to die. Like, imminently about to die. And he worked so hard through his life that there were moments they missed throughout that they were supposed to enjoy during their retirement. And those moments are not going to happen now. They were supposed to enjoy the fruits of his labor. And she's on her deathbed. She can't travel anymore. And all she asked for that he can remember was to relive a moment that they had once in Japan in the snow. It was the most beautiful day of her life, spent with him. And she would love to just like see the snow again and have some semblance of that moment. And they're in Hawaii. There's no snow. Like, he can't provide it. So he's trying to simulate or find some way of simulating snow just to give her that moment again. That beautiful, shining moment before she passes on and he won't see her again for the rest of his life. And he's filled with regret that he worked so hard through his life. And he's supposed to be enjoying this period of time with his wife. They could travel, they could see the snow, and that moment's been taken away from them. And it's really like, oh, okay. Cut to about half hour later of my day. And we're in the mall, the big mall in Aloha. And suddenly, out of nowhere, a stroller, a baby stroller, a pram, starts careering down a flight of stairs in super slow motion, very reminiscent of The Naked Gun. I believe it was 33 1/3 that did this, or one of the movies, where it's just like barreling down these stairs, and everyone's like, "Oh no, no!" And I was like, "Oh my god!" And then it goes to like a Ghostbusters 2 scene of Ichiban chasing this stroller through the streets that's got a mind of its own. It's weaving through traffic. It's going around people. You've got like a QTE section while you're chasing the stroller down, trying to save this baby. It's turning corners. It's going around everything. And if you nail it, the pram comes to a stop in this car park. Lo and behold, I want to point out here, I had no idea at this point that these quest lines are related. Obviously, you know they are because I'm telling you the story, but at the time, we had no idea. Because who is in the pram? It is not a baby. It is the giant man-baby Yakuza boss from the previous game. And if you never saw this, there was a Yakuza boss and his gang that love to roleplay as babies. They wear diapers, they drink milk, they go to a place in Japan where the ladies treat them like actual babies, and he's on vacation in Hawaii, and he's being pushed around the mall by some lady while dressed as a baby inside a baby-sized pram. It is absolute insanity, right? It is completely ludicrous what's going on here. And he's just like, "Why are you doing this, Ichiban?" Right? And he's like, "I'm here to rescue." He's like, "Oh, I got away from my mama, blah, blah, blah. Where's my milk?" And as this is happening, his boys roll up. It looks like wacky races. They're all in their own strollers, and his little gang, his Yakuza gang, pops out, all wearing diapers of their own strollers, and convinced you're kidnapping their boss. So violence ensues, as it always does in Yakuza. And you're like, no, I was saving the pram. Like, yeah, right, you're trying to kidnap our boss. And then you beat the crap out of them because the boss is now having his nap time. Of course he is. He's having nap time. Post beating the crap out of them, the boss wakes up and he's like, "What are you guys doing? What are you doing? You know, like, get out of here. This is Ichiban. He's a friend of ours," which you are. You are absolutely a friend of these guys. And they actually become pound mates that you can summon during combat. So that's all going on. As you sit at the bench in this car park to discuss why they're on vacation in Hawaii, who the hell do you see behind you but the old man is now asking the truck if they have any ice. And I'm like, what? This is connected to this old man and his dying wife? What is this going on here? Without skipping a beat, the old man comes and joins you. At no point does he question why there is 4 thuggish, right, probably criminals, butt naked except for giant diapers, sat here chatting away with you normally, and instead explains the situation with his wife. As this happens, during the fight, one of the diapers has split, and the stuffing that's inside diapers, I don't know the exact name, but I've dealt with this a lot. This actually took me out of it, immersion breaking. Is when that gets wet in the game, that looks like snow. Would you believe it? Now, I know this not to be true unless they have different diapers in the US, which they may have. It turns into like a sludgy crystal jelly substance, because I've got 2 kids and sometimes diapers split. And they go, "Wait, it looks like snow." And I'm like, wait, no, man. Are we suggesting we're going to throw diaper stuffing at this guy's dying wife? Is that what's going to happen here? Yeah. That's what's going to happen. So he says, "Hey, we brought a pallet, like a truckload of diapers to Hawaii with us in case we couldn't get the adult diapers while we were here. So come and meet us and we're going to make your final moments with your wife the best we possibly can." I'm like, how is this going to work? So we go and see them and he says, "We're ready." We then go to one of the most emotionally evocative scenes in the series so far. It is so well voice acted. It is so well shot from the camera angles, and is so well written that it is worthy of any major game. It would not be amiss in an Expedition 33 or whatever, right? Whatever your favorite story moment in a game is, it is poignant. The music's on point. And she's dying and she's saying, "You were my prince. And yes, you were away a lot, but I loved every day, every minute, every second. And you should have no regrets and not feel this guilt. And I don't want to die knowing you feel this way because you're my prince." And he's laying it all out for her. And I'm not even joking. I was choking up. I'm like, I can't believe this. And it drags you in so much that you forget about what's happening. Because midway through this scene, sure enough, in this bedroom in Hawaii where this lady's in bed waiting to die and they're having this touching moment, snow starts to fall. It starts to snow in there and she brightens up and she's like, "You made it snow for me?" And he's like, "Yeah, I gave you this moment." And then it immediately smash cuts to 5 grown men on a roof tearing diapers apart and throwing the stuffing off the side of the building so it goes through her window. And they're going, "Keep going, boys. We're not stopping now. Keep throwing it. Keep throwing it." And they're throwing it all. And you're just like, oh my, it's so, the juxtaposition of one scene to the other, the sheer the preposterousness of what is going on. And then it goes back to the emotional side of things. And it's neck breaking is what it is. It is neck breaking in terms of what's happening. It's insanity. And for me, this is Yakuza. This is exactly why this franchise has the legs it's had, why it's so beloved, why it's so fun, why it's so interesting, is because you're not getting this anywhere else. Certainly not to this level of quality, because it really is well done. And it's fun as hell. Fun as hell. So I really wanted to talk about that, because for me, it was the quintessential, as she passes away at that point, it is the quintessential Yakuza quest. I don't think there's a quest line in any game that can just be like, point to, play that, you will understand this game in so many different ways. If you like that, you're going to have a whale of a time. If you like this, you're good for hundreds, if not thousands of hours of content, which we're going to get to next time, because I've also just done I've unlocked Business 2.0. Which is, I'm going to get the name wrong every time. I'm going to call it Dodongo Island, because that's the word in my head from the Zelda series. Dodongo Island, I've just unlocked it. We're stood there. It's a theme park, I think, or something. I don't know. But this is how we're going to make our millions. And thank God, because I have never been so poor in a video game ever as I am in Yakuza right now. I have $50 in my pocket. And we need a lot of money to make a lot of weapons and armor and all sorts of stuff. So, check back in tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes. I'm going to jump in now and see what it's like. Bye, guys.